This is a Toyota Hilux, and it didn't start its life quite like this. So why do we have this apart? Let me explain. Toyota Hilux is one of the most popular, if not the most popular ute or truck here in Australia. Everyone loves them. They're reliable, nice and good. The only thing keeping it outdated for a big four-wheel drive build is the old outdated infotainment. Now in this video, what we are going to show you is how to take it all apart all yourself. It's really nice and easy. How to put in the new wiring and put in the new system. It's very DIY friendly. So without any further delay, let's get started into another episode of DIY Made Easy. Alright, so starting off, you have to remove these two screws right here. They're just very soft plastic screws, so you can just undo them by hand, and that will allow for you to remove this fascia around your cluster. You have to remove that in order to remove this big trim around the car. Once you have both of the screws removed, then this fascia panel can pop out. And then you can remove these two tabs that was holding the screws in and put this thing to the side. Then moving on to this next big trim around here. Now you can start prying on one side, either on the driver or on the passenger side. It's only held in by clips. It's a bunch of clips. Don't put a lot of pressure on one side, you might snap it. So just go evenly throughout. I like to use this tool, popping the pressure. And once you get to the end of it, just pop the trim around. And the whole thing is on the side. Put it away. Next is removing this top glove box here. Quite easy, just pull it out. It comes out of place, only held in by clips. Very nice and simple car to work on, so not much for you to get stressed about. Then we'll move on to this bottom climate panel there. So again, go ahead here, like any point of prying you can see, use that as leverage. Just pop it out. Now if you don't need to remove that, they can just sit down there. Then you've got two 10mm here, and there's two on top. Go ahead and undo those 4 10mm. Now using a magnetized bit does help, since you don't drop the screws down there and you don't have to find it. Now it's not essential, but it's quite easy, saves you a lot of time getting the screws back out. Alright, so once you got all of those screws removed, then you go ahead and put your soft microfiber, pull it out. It's just held in by clips now. It'll all pop out. Now on the left side, you'll see this passenger airbag thing. You have to undo it from here, and we'll be putting it onto the new one. There's just one clip behind. Just press onto the tab. I will release it, and then you can pull the whole fascia out. You can go ahead and undo all of these plugs. And they are all press and release tabs, so quite easy to remove, not hard at all. Now once all of these plugs are removed, next part is removing all of these yellow clips that we have to transplant into the new one. And the final thing we have to remove is this passenger airbag warning light. So it's just pushed in. So what you want to do is just give it a little bit of room here and press it out. Then you can just remove it, put it to the side. And that radio is pretty much done. We don't need to worry about this anymore. We can go ahead and put it away. Once you guys get to this part, next part is checking in which harness is going to fit in nice and perfect. Now I can see right here in this one, we've got those two plugs in these two. So we want to make sure something can fit. It's going to be this harness, which is HW006. So let's plug it all in. And what I like to do personally is cut off all of the zip ties and do some taping to make it look a bit neater than what it does now. So what I'm going to do at this stage is, before plugging anything in, I'll tape it all up. Now here's one wire that I'm showing you now. So this is called an amp control. So what it essentially does, if in case your car did have the JBL sound system, some of the rugged Hilux does. So what you have to do is find this SIM card tray loom. In here you will see this amp control wire. Just connect them up together. This will get your amp to turn on every time the car starts, and get it to turn off when the car stops. That's a key part. And now as you can see, most of the things have been taped up. Now it'll make it a little bit nicer as well. Let's tape up my canvas. Now this part is not essential, however it does make the installation a lot nicer and neater. We do like to do it. Alright, so what we're going to do at this stage is plug everything that can be plugged in. Now you'll see that there's one out of these two will plug in, because you can see the same color wires are coming out. So you can't have the same source, can't have the same power coming from two different plugs. Only one of the power plugs will work in your case. So start plugging things in. So you'll see this thing will fit in there. This one will fit in here. Big one, don't have to worry about it. The camera plug will go in there. Now you saw there was multiple camera plugs in here, but only one of them can fit in. Now the easiest way to tell is the actual camera lead. There's a black and yellow wire in here. Just make sure it's matching to something on the other side. Sometimes you'll have cables that don't match to anything on the other side, so they're pretty pointless. That's your radio aerial. And this plug right here will plug into the provided canvas box from the kit, so it only goes in one way. Now the aerial will go directly into the head unit. Now your audio jack source is going to be plugged into this one. Now this is how we're going to retain the original aux port using these two connections. I'll show you how to connect them in a minute. Now your original passenger airbag thingy, what I like to do with this, let me quickly show you, is just plug it in here and just zip tie it at the back. Right, this is your original USB retention, so this will come in as a part of the kit. It's right here. And getting some zip ties, we should be able to just get it tied up together so that it doesn't move much. Alright, so once that one is plugged in back there, the reason why I like to do that, the unit comes in with a blank plate to blanket up top. Looks a bit nice and cleaner. Now once you have everything plugged in, the next part is running in your microphone. Now this being a four-wheel drive, you want to run your microphone somewhere where it's going to be in direct line of sight with the person talking. So where I like to mount it, right up there in the A-pillar, run the wires down from underneath there, up here, so out of the way from any of the gas pedals and stuff. You definitely don't want to get stuck there. Alright, so that's the cable for my microphone. Now what I like to do here is tape it up to one of these cables so it's nice and tight, and then the excess we can also tape up to make it look neat. Now the other end of this will go into the mic port of our SIM card wiring loom. Plug it in, tape up the connections, and you'll see there's two of them in here that says aux L and aux R. There's that, and then there's audio L and audio R. Now you're going to use the aux L and aux R and connect it to the same aux port in. This will retain your original aux port to work with the new head unit. Now go ahead and tape that one up as well. Now the SIM card tray, I like to mount it inside the glove box here. So just run it into my glove box, just open it up, reach out from the side, and there's plenty of room for you to run your SIM card tray right into your glove box. Next bit on here is your antenna. So now you get two antennas in the kit. The long one is your Wi-Fi antenna. Now what this one allows for you to do is to have good Wi-Fi reception when you plug in the SIM card. Now it's got nothing to do with the actual connectivity when you're using your phone. Now this one you have to find a flat piece of plastic. Now this one cannot go onto metal. It does get interference from metal. The GPS antenna doesn't really matter if it's plastic or metal, but the Wi-Fi antenna, you want to make sure you mount it on a flat piece of plastic. If you've got plenty of on the inner side of the other glove box on here. One USB you've got in here, you can see it's a 4-pin. Then you have another one which is a 6-pin. Same thing, just run it into your glove box. That is for your factory USB retention. This one will let you have an external USB if you want to plug something in, plug in movies or whatever. You can do it through there. You got both your USBs, the SIM card tray. Now the camera plug, you'll see we left that into a RCA at the end, right? So we'll get this other adapter inside the kit, plug them in together, and tape up the connection so it doesn't come loose. Now we're getting very close to the installation, the final bit. Just have to mount in our GPS antenna. This right here is my GPS antenna, so let's get that out. Now this can go anywhere, doesn't matter, metal, plastic, whatever, makes no difference. So I would like to mount it right here on top where it's gonna have good reception. Flat piece of metal. All right, once you've got all of that ready to go, what we're gonna do is get all of the clips that we got out in the initial part of the video. Share all of these clips, and we will mount it onto the new unit. This right here is our new unit. So just flip it down to the side, push in all of these yellow tabs onto the side clips. So, now you'll see at the back everything can only go into one spot, right? So what I'm going to do is quickly route everything, it says clearly which antenna is for which one. So the top one is the the middle one is the GPS, the bottom is a 4G, and the top is your aerial for FM and AM. So let's set it all up. There's your aerial. Then we move on to the camera, the 2 USB ports. So the 6-pin and the 4-pin. Just go ahead and plug it in. Then you got a 10-pin wire there, which is your canvas plug, which is these 2 twisted wires. They come out of our canvas box. Plug that one in there. Now you'll see this tiny little plug, that's for your fan. Now it will go onto the loom where you plugged in your SIM card. So just on the other side of it, you'll see there's a plug there. Just plug it in. Now because this is designed to be sustained in all weather, it does have an active cooling using the fan. Then you can plug in the SIM card slot. And the final one is your power wire, this big black plug there. Plug that one in. Push all the wires into the cavity at the back, and we are ready to push it into spot. Now line up the clips. Same thing at the bottom. All the clips are being pushed in, nice and good. Make sure the blank is in spot. Now the next part you would have to do is to get your climate panel back on. Make sure none of the wires are getting pinched anywhere. You don't want a pinched wire at the end. Yep, one side, the same thing on the other. So before putting in the glove box, you want to make sure the glove box is open, and then you can slide it in spot. At the bottom open, this will allow for easier installation of the top one. Clicks right in, fits in perfect. And the top trim here that we removed earlier, so go ahead from the back side and push it all in place. Clicked in nice and clean. Now the last part is putting the fascia back on for your cluster. Now remember, with the fascia for the cluster, you have to pull the steering wheel out of the place. Then you can slide it back in. And once you do get it in, just make sure it clicks in nice and neat everywhere. All of the clips, the ones at the tops, the ones at the bottom. Once everything is clicked into place, you've got those 2 tabs that we removed before. You have to push them in and then screw your screw back on. Now don't use any power tool for this part, because those screws have a very delicate thread and you don't want to thread them. Just do one side at a time. Just go very lightly with your fingers. Don't use too much force. Once it gets to the point, you'll feel it. Same thing on the other one. Now as you can see, the system has come to life. So let's go ahead and set up the system. You'll see it's super nice, very quick system, doesn't lag whatsoever. Sound is working, let's not get a copyright. All of our steering wheel controls also working, which is really good. Go into reverse, let's check for our camera. Now that's not a good sign, so what you want to do, just touch the screen. You'll see this tiny little cogwheel on the top right. Click on that, click on camera and change it to go from AHD to NTSC, which is the original Toyota signal. And this car's camera is not very clear from factory. You can upgrade it if you really want to. It's good to know that it's all working. Let's pair it up to a hotspot and set up the daytime zone and everything. So in order to do a hotspot to watch YouTube and other stuff, you just turn the hotspot on, swipe down from the top, press and hold on to network, and here you'll see WAC. Click on that, password 1, 2, 3. Now this is just literally connecting to your phone's hotspot. Do that with any hotspot, doesn't matter if it's mine or yours or any of them. Now let's go ahead and set up our time. So go into settings, more, scroll all the way to the bottom, time zone, not automatic, change it, click Australia, and we'll go Sydney. That's the right time. Now you will use your GPS to data mine, daylight saving on or off, but at the minute it's the first boot up, so we have to set everything up. In order to replace these apps with whatever you like, just press and hold on to them and just slide and pick whatever app you like. Now what I like to do, have Z-Link there, my radio here, connecting new phones to the Bluetooth here, and this one I usually like to have it on DSP, which is this one. This will give you better sound, as I'll show you in a minute. Now the one thing that comes in, because this is the latest architecture, it comes in with a built-in AI, which is this tiny little thing. It is quite annoying, so we'll turn this off, press and hold on to it, and completely get rid of it. Now let's see and set up other settings. So click on the settings there, scroll down, factory, first one we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, click confirm, scroll all the way to the bottom, microphone selection. Now because we've mounted a noise cancellation HD microphone, you're going to select the rear one, so you'll use the rear one for your voice and the other ones built here for noise cancellation. Radio region, we'll go to Australia, amount, resolution, all of that should be okay, nothing for us to do there. Now personal, phone link app, Z-Link, it's good. Voice, now this is a live, so if you're driving, watching something which you shouldn't, do whatever you want to do. I don't recommend to do it. Let's say you're driving, you got something playing on there, you quickly want to change it into CarPlay, just press this button here, takes you straight into CarPlay. And once you're in the CarPlay, change the driver position to right because it's a right-hand drive car. FPS engine will make the whole UI really smooth, up to 60 FPS. Background connection, automatic connection, turned on. Link mode first is where every time the car starts, it will automatically go into CarPlay. Now this bottom panel is quite handy. However, you can also have it on different sides. So say if you go on to general, you can have it bottom display, left display if you like on the left, right display if you like it on the right. I think I'm going to leave it on the right side because it's easier to use it here than it is to do it there. Go home, and then from here we'll set up our Bluetooth. So go into Bluetooth here. Now before that we'll test and make sure YouTube and other stuff is working. As you can see, it's working. We don't want audio, don't want to get a copyright. That's all working. So we'll disconnect the Wi-Fi now, and then we'll move on to connecting our phone for CarPlay. Let's go in here, change the name to, I'm just gonna put in Hilux. Now on my phone I can go into settings, to Bluetooth, at the bottom it will come up as Hilux. It's even easier to just click on the search icon here, bring up my phone, press and hold, press OK. That's the way I like to do it. But you can also do it the other way around. You can connect it from the phone. Comes with pairing request, click pair, allow, it will pair up, and then it will ask to connect to CarPlay and click continue. Now all of this you only have to do the first time. From next time everything is automatic, so you don't have to worry about it. This warning. Now as you can see, as soon as I remove this film from here, everything is in HD now, looking so much nicer. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, YouTube, Netflix, anything you want to watch, you can do it on here. Really nice and solid screen, brushed aluminum, and it's all flush from the back. As you can see, no gaps or anything, everything's 3D printed to suit the car. Coming back to the front, going to reverse from here, camera comes on, back into drive, camera goes away. Now there is a setting in here that we do have to look after, is going into settings and reverse. Scroll down, reversing volume control. Now this is how much of the original volume will come on when you go into reverse. I usually like to set up at 80%, somewhere around there. So if you're playing something and you go into reverse, it will dim down but not cut all the way out. It's good to have it like that, so when you're making a phone call or something, it will dim down and not cut you out mid-conversation. Now let's go into radio and set up some stations. Just make sure there's sound coming in. So that means the radio is working. Just press and hold and it will set it up onto whatever stations you want to set it up to. Back into home screen. Now there's a lot of customization. You can change the theme by going into themes. You can change a lot of car settings. The original Toyota settings are all in here. So you practically lose nothing. If anything, you gain more functionality, and really nice and amazing screen. Now if you guys got any question in regards to this install, just leave them down in the comments below and I'll be able to help you. If you want this exact kit, click the link in the description. There's a product link. It will take you straight onto the website. The exact identical kit with everything shown in the video. You can follow along and do the installation yourself. Really nice and easy installation. And that's gonna be it. And that's gonna be it for us in this video. We'll see you next time around with another DIY Made Easy episode. Peace.